Good day all. Today we will study briefly about the antipsychotics. So this is a description from the book KDT which we have studied in our second year of MBBS. According to that, we can see one classification in which there is phenothiazines, antipsychotics, butyrophenones, thioxanthines, other heterocyclics, and atypical antipsychotics. It is very important to know atypical antipsychotics these days because many of the time you will see the people and the psychiatrists are prescribing these second generation atypical antipsychotics. We also call it second generation antipsychotics. And this typical one, the other which we have described from 1, 2, 3. So these are also called as typical antipsychotics. We will see one more table from Harrison, table number 44410. In that, we can see how it is divided. It is divided like first generation antipsychotic, and in that low potency, mid potency, high potency. So in low potency, you can see chlorpromazine, thioridazine. In mid potency, you can see trifluperazine, furfenazine, loxapine, and high potency, very important to remember, is haloperidol and flufenazine, thioxanthines. In second generation, we will see most of the drugs, and we will also see about the doses. In the end, we will revise it again. Just we can see the list for a while. Then we will move on to mechanism of action. When we see the mechanism of action of these antipsychotics, it is mainly by D2 receptor blocking, dopamine 2 receptor blocking. That too is mainly by the typical antipsychotics or the first generation antipsychotics. So they block D2 receptors in the temporal and prefrontal areas, mainly the two fibers, the mesolimbic and the mesocortical fibers of the areas. So that mechanism of action is according to the dopamine theory of schizophrenia, which tells that there is dopamine overactivity in the mesolimbic system. But in contrast, there happens reduction of the dopamine activity in mesocortical system. We will also see how it is related to 5-HT, means serotonergic or glutamate neurotransmitters. We'll get to know about these two transmitters when we will read the mechanism of action of the drug clozapine, because that is a drug which is barely acting through blocking D2 receptors. Let's move forward. I would like to discuss this table because in the treatment of the illnesses like psychosis or schizophrenia through the antipsychotics, the very important thing is to maintain or manage the side effects of these medications. As like there are the few side effects like antipsychotic induced Parkinsonism, acute dystonia, acute akathisia, tardive dyskinesia, tardive dystonia, malignant neuroleptic malignant syndrome. Most of the it is understood that these side effect happens because of the excessive dopamine 2 receptor blockage. Also, the side effects like orthostatic hypotension. This happens because of alpha 1 blockage. Tachycardia happens because of anticholinergic action of these antipsychotics. Sedation happens because of antihistaminic effect of antipsychotics. We can see that table briefly. You can stop, you can pause and note down the details. How to manage these side effects briefly. We will see the doses of few important drugs as like chlorpromazine. In that 100 to 1000. Although now according to the modified Keynes criteria, we take it 100 to 600. So 600, what we say 600 mg of chlorpromazine equivalent is the adequate dose for the trial of the psychosis or schizophrenia. Other thing which can see trifluperazine is 5 to 50 mg. Haloperidol, very important drug. Very frequently it is being used in the ICU setups for the delirium. The dose is 5 to 20, but in the ICU setup when we are using, the dose becomes 0.5 to 2. We give reduced doses of the drug. Seeing the second generation antipsychotics, clozapine 150 to 600, we can also go up to the 900 in that. Risperidone 2 to 8, maximum dose is 16 mg. Olanzapine 10 to 30 mg. Quetiapine 300 or 350 to 800 mg. Aripiprazole 10 to 30. Lurasidone, a new drug, 40 to 80. Pimavanserin. One main question which arises from that it is the drug which has been approved for the treatment of psychosis in patients with Parkinson's disease. We will see a few drugs briefly. The haloperidol, It is very potent antipsychotic and it resembles that of the piperazine substituted phenothiazine. It has few autonomic effects, it is less epileptogenic and does not cause weight gain. Very important. Most of the first generation antipsychotics are not causing weight gain. Also, it is preferred for the drug treatment of acute schizophrenia, not currently because of the side effects like extrapyramidal symptoms. Now its use is reduced. Other things like Huntington's disease and Tourette syndrome. Now we will see clozapine. It is the most efficacious drug, but the issue is it is also associated with many side effects. The main or the good things are weak D2, so produces very few or no EPS. Tardipainesia is rare. Prolactin level does not raise. Both positive and negative symptoms of the schizophrenia are improved with clozapine. Most of the drugs are improving only the positive symptoms. So there are the evidences that the clozapine also improves negative symptoms of schizophrenia. The main thing which we see in clozapine is that it may cause agranulocytosis. That is the reason the monitoring is required, weekly monitoring initially of the leukocyte count and ANC count. The main disadvantage is medical complication or metabolic complications like weight gain, hyperlipidemia, precipitation of the diabetes, and also higher doses can induce the seizures. It is epileptogenic. Other side effects like sedation, unstable BP, tachycardia, urinary incontinence are also reported. Even myocarditis is also reported with clozapine. With that, we will end our brief discussion of antipsychotics. You can go back, revise the things again and again, and you can see the classification first, then mechanism of action, then doses. Thank you.